moved home 10 years ago to fight a factory farm. We stood up to Farm Bureau and the pork producers. What did they do? They put a bullet hole through my dad's office window in the first month that I came home. Okay? They attacked me and my sister personally. And so I'll just say, we do not believe that's the proper way to have a conversation and dialogue in this country about food and agriculture. Food and agriculture is a foundation. I mean, the reason we have civilization today is because 10,000 years ago, some curious ancestors that we had discovered that you could save seeds and plant them. And put them. So I think, really, food and agriculture is the bedrock of civilization. And I think we have some real critical tipping point issues. Human health in America is at its worst that it's ever been. The U.S. military cannot even find soldiers. They're over obesity and type 2 diabetes. The current food system that we've created is toxic. Now, it's not Bob's fault. It's not farmers' fault in the fields. It's food manufacturers and the chemical companies that create this system and create toxic food. So what I'm really here for is to have a polite and civil dialogue over controversial issues, because I believe it's incumbent upon us as citizens to get this issue right. And I'll just say, Iowa, we may not have the right to pick the president of the United States, but we have the first caucus. And I think the greatest thing about Iowa and the Iowa caucus system is you have the poorest person in town to go into that room and stand next to the person that has the biggest house and owns the bank, and they can stand there and have a conversation about who should be the next leader of the free world. And it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what your job is. It matters that you're a citizen of this country and there's a constitution and you have a right to be a part of this system. I believe it's very important for people to be a part of the political system, and I believe there's intentional reasons why science is allowing bad things to happen in our
Dave,
society.
your time's up. Thank you for those points. Bob, 2 minutes. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm going to be very brief. Is the microphone on? Yeah. First of all, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. We have a lot of problems, a lot more problems in society than talking about GMOs and genetic engineering, that's for sure. But I'm optimistic because the science is just so terrific. The science of genetic engineering is really taking off in a way in which you can only imagine, and I think some of the issues that are coming up are going to dwarf what we're really talking about with respect to agriculture. You may or may not be aware that the first human embryo was edited very precisely with very, very new, novel genetic engineering technology. What I'm saying is we have the technology now to really change any gene in any organism, including humans, on the face of this earth, and do whatever we want with them in a very precise way, which means that that's a very powerful technology and a very powerful responsibility. I like doing genetic engineering because we learn more about biology and more about the world and more about all of us than, from a scientific point of view, than the last 10,000 years. The knowledge is just amazing. But I'm not going to tell anyone, and I don't want to tell anyone how to use the technology. It's really up to you. And so I agree with David from that point of view. We're a democracy, and we have to be able to decide among ourselves how that technology is used. I think it's being used in a very positive way, and I think it's going to be used in a very much more positive way and a better way in the future. And I'm pleased.
Thank you.
Thank you. Folks, I'll say this. So thank you to our speakers. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Bob. I learned a lot. I hope you learned a lot by this. I'll say this. Obviously, both of the speakers here today are very passionate about the issue of genetically modified foods, and the reason that they're here today is because they are so passionate about something they have in common. They want us to have food that is safe. They want all of us to be healthy and live long and prosperous lives. So to that degree, I do appreciate that we're here for that same shared value. We have very different, obviously, solutions for how to get to that and address it, but that's okay. I think compared to what I have personally seen, this was a very civil discussion, and I'm proud that we're able to kick off our civil discourse series with this debate. So I again thank the speakers. Next Tuesday, we're going to have a discussion about the death penalty. Gil Garcetti is going to be speaking with Michelle Hannessy, and it's going to be regarding Prop 66. And the moderator will be our State Senator Ben Allen. The following week is about college affordability. And again, these are on Tuesdays at 6 p.m., 6 to 7. And then on the last one, November the 1st, Alan Thicke from Growing Pains the Dad from Growing Pains. He's going to be our moderator to have a debate about marijuana legalization with the primary proponent and opponent of Proposition 64 in California. So thank you to everybody. Thank you for withstanding the cold.